And look at this. Everything inside here, the metal casing, the glass screen, the chips learning everything, every bit of it started out as something you will never look twice at. Sand, metal ore dug out of the ground, oil turned into plastic on their own, none of that is worth many much at all. So how does a pile of sand, metal and oil turns into something that costs this much? What actually happens in between the raw material and the finished product, and who's responsible for that jump in value? Let's start with two words that people use like they mean the same thing. Need versus wants. A need is something that you can generally not survive without. Food, clean water, shelter and clothing. A want is different. Something that makes life better or easier, but you don't actually suffer without it. Here is where it gets interesting. A diary, need or a want. For most of the human history, easily a want. Nice to have, not essential. Now what about this? If you're a student and your entire school runs online, assignment, classes, research, is an iPad still just a want? Or it has turned quietly something closer to a need? That's one of the trickier parts of thinking like a business person. Needs and wants are not fixed categories. They shift depending upon who's asking and when and what their life actually requires. A business has to understand that shift, because it changes what people are willing to pay and how badly they need what's being offered. What a business actually hands you, it comes in two different forms. And this iPad is a perfect example of both happening at once. The iPad itself, the glass, the metal, its screen, that's a good. A good is something physical. You can hold it, own it and carry it around. And if I dropped it right now, it could actually break. That's what makes it a good. But watch what happens the moment I do something with it. If I stream a video, message someone or video call someone on it, none of that is a physical thing. Nobody handing me an object. Someone somewhere is actively doing something for me. Delivering data, running a server, or keeping a signal connected. That is a service. You can drop a service on your foot, but you're still paying real money for real value. So this one device is actually both at once. A good sitting in my hands and a doorway into a dozen of services the moment I turn it on. Okay, back to the real question. How does raw sand, metal and oil turn into a laptop? A business takes raw materials and adds work to it. Engineering, design, skilled labor, machinery testing, and years of research. Each step makes a material more useful and more valuable than before. The gap between the raw material, what was worth on its own, and what the finished product is worth. Once a business has finished working on it, that gap has a name. It's called value addition. It's not a minor detail. It's the actual reason the business exists in the first place. You can see the exact same principle in something far simpler. In this diary, paper on its own is very cheap, but someone designed this, bound the pages together, built a strong cover around it. Now it is something people actually choose to buy instead of loose paper. Same principle as the laptop, just a much smaller scale. This is another example of value addition. The management thinker Peter Drucker said, a business exists to create a customer, to take a raw material or a raw idea and turn it into exactly what somebody actually needs or wants. Here is the part people actually leave out. Once a business adds that value, you can measure it into two different ways. One way is money it makes, what it costs to make something versus what people are willing to pay for it. Call that the return. The other ways are harder to put into numbers, but matters just as much. The actual difference it makes in somebody's life. A student who can finally do their schoolwork because they have an iPad that works, a family able to sell what they build, a business gave them a platform to do it. Call that impact. A real business, the kind Stalker Future Leaders Network is built to teach things both at the same time. Not just did this make money, but did this make something actually worth making? So here's something to actually sit with. Look at whatever's closest to you right now. The laptop, the diary, or the iPad, or anything in the room. Pick one thing and try to work backwards. What was it before a business got its hands on it? What specifically got added along the way? Adding value and generating returns and impact is one of the strongest indicators of a successful business. Thank you.